Good. Okay, I'll see you soon. So the structure of today's talk will be more complex than normal. But this is only the structure that is complex. In a moment, we'll have a short story which will illuminate an exercise I will give at the very end of the talk. It will also illuminate why paths may look so different, and yet in essence will be the same. We'll have the healing list, then the talk as a whole with the exercise, plus then any questions that you wish to ask. Next week will be the last week for this year. And next week, if you would like to bring questions on our topic or any other topic, you may do so. But please do not send those questions to the medium, so that it does not know what is to be undertook. The medium will take a vacation then for a short period of time, and then we'll return towards the middle or end of January. But the medium will take a vacation during February, where he will meet love in form and love outside of form. So let us go to our story for the day. Two artists were traveling the land. And one day they came to a kingdom and they approached the king and said to the king, "We are two very individual artists, and we will paint you a picture that will be exactly the same and express the truth, and you will know it to be the true." And the king said, "Well, you'll just copy each other." And they insisted that they were in one room with a partition down the middle, that they could not see each other's action. And they promised the king that they would reveal to him the truth. So the king constructed the room and asked an artist to stand either side of the partition. Now, one artist began to paint the most wonderful picture, so full of detail, richness, and color. And the other artist started to scrub the walls and keep on scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. And after a few hours, the king returned and said, "Are you ready?" And said, "They are ready." And he looked into one room and saw the most beautiful image, and indeed believed that it was the most beautiful picture that he had ever seen. And he looked into the other room and saw the room was clean and bright, but could not understand the message. And the two artists then asked for the partition to be removed. And the beauty of the one painting was reflected in the clean and clear walls on the other side of the room. And indeed, it looked like the two sides were portraying the same picture. And the king then asked and said, "Well, what is the difference?" And the artist said, "Well, when you are with devotion, you create the beauty." And the other artist said, "Well, when you are studying knowledge, you just reflect the beauty." So two paths are detailed here: the path of bhakti or devotion, worship, where you create the beauty through the creation of all things love. But the way of knowledge is one of preparing oneself and becoming the clarity, or being so clear that love and beauty just travel straight through. And although knowledge and devotion look like two very different pathways, they both express the beauty of creation. One creating, one reflecting. Now, this will become a little more apparent as we go through the talk and the exercise I will ask you to try at the end of the talk. But now let's move along. May I have the healing list of names, please?
Yes. Roz, Helen, Rachel Brown, Tracy and Eric, Brenda, Laura, Sharon, Bill, Jody and Noah, Petra, Beth and Wendy, Christina and Jamie, Anne and Kathleen, Nick and Ann Insole, Taylor, Monica, Milada and Tim, Asha, Rosa, Coulter and Zach, Nancy and Larry, Donald and Joel, Minnie and Cappy, Lori and Michio, Bob Tracy, Sharon Phillips, Madavadas, Rachel Ray, Laura, Kath, Daniel and Chantal, Stephanie and Susanna, Antonio McAldy, Claudio and family, Cynthia and Robert, Linda and Deborah, and of course, may all be happy.
A new student on a spiritual path. They expect that within a few short days, or a week or two at the most, that they will feel a life of peace, love, and beauty. And many people on this spiritual path do not accept that it will take time in opening and preparing themselves for the spiritual evolution that they are walking upon or walking toward. And it is time that the ego does not have. So many at this stage, right at the very beginning, may choose to reject the spiritual path because it's not happening, or happening quick enough, or happening with enough evidence in enough short period of time. Therefore, there must be something wrong. Although it is possible for some to have large steps in their spiritual progress, generally the spiritual path is one that one opens very slowly into. But there does come a point when one walks a spiritual path that there is an acceleration of happiness, love, and peace. And indeed, large jumps are possible in terms of vibration. But these are few and far between. But during these jumps that can occur, one can be opened so much that they feel empty, devoid, lacking all inner quality. Their destruction and removal of their ego starts to mean that they have nothing that they can hold on to. And therefore the emptiness feels very disconcerting for most people. At these times, there is a raising of energy around a person, where their emotions, their senses, their sense of self, all becomes extremely heightened. And this can result in various changes in the path or the life of the individual. But when this energy is so much bigger, then the new path, the new individual on the other side of it, may start to look at life in very different ways. And their path then starts to open in ways they would never have imagined. They think it's this way, but tend to go that way instead. And as I said, this is disconcerting, as it is for one who is transitioning from thinking linearly to thinking non-linearly. Linearly is with the logical mind, and non-linearly with the emotional, creative, imaginative mind. It is rather looking for your car keys. If you use your linear mind, then you go back in time and sit and says, where was I? What was I doing? What occurred around that time? And start to piece together history. But when one is more content with thinking non-linearly and using the mind in other ways, they do not think the same. So rather than piecing together stepping stones of history, the non-linear person just sits and waits. And the answer of where the car keys are gradually comes to mind. It is rather the same with knowledge. As one who follows knowledge, seeks wisdom, one may put stepping stones in place to take them to a certain level. But they often come across knowledge which may not be understood. And this is rather disconcerting for the linear mind, and they cannot understand what needs to be understood. So this calls the linear person into the non-linear process and says, be still and know. And the answer will come. At these stages, there is a raise in one's energy level around the person. This, of course, can lead to that excessive energy I spoke about just before. But there are ways that you can attract more energy to you, which would lift your vibration, accelerate your progress, and help you to take bigger steps than you thought you could. And this may make you or allow you to do certain jumps in your vibrational rate and take you to new levels. But you can only move forward if your system is capable of handling the increase in vibration. So for some people, the rays of the Kundalini becomes very disconcerting. But it should only occur when one is ready for that increase in vibration. If one pushes too hard and somehow manages to raise the energy that's available, well, this can lead to trauma and difficulty. And we touched on that topic last week. So what are the ways one can improve their spiritual energy? Well, first is intention. The second one is commitment, which could be termed attention. There is prayer, there is devotion, there is focus or concentration. Now, if you think of all these words that I have mentioned, they are energy magnets. So if you think of times, if you truly prayed or were truly devoted to something, then the energy level around you will grow. Now, of course, that devotion may not need to be towards a deity, and you may have experienced your devotion to some hobby or practice that you may have done. Let us say a musical instrument. If you are devoted to the practice of it, then does not your energy also increase? And your ability to accomplish your task also increase? So as one practices any of these energy magnets, then you will find that your progress becomes quicker and you experience greater love and peace. And other things, of course. And in achieving this greater energy, your vibration increases, and this improves your spiritual gift and phenomenon. So attention and intention, prayer, devotion, focus or concentration, they will all mean greater energy and the delivery of whatever result you are aiming to achieve. Now, of course, that could be a spiritual gift. It could be meeting the divine. It could be opening one's heart. It could be meeting your true love. And when you do meet your true love, then the river is able to change its course. True love means life changes in very dramatic ways at times. And it may mean that you give everything away, or you may just give away what no longer serves you and is incomplete. You would even give away God, because you see God in the other. And your energy then comes to a certain level that if you are with the one that you are most connected to, often in your world you'll say soulmate or various other phrases, then the combined energy, if then focused in the right way, would naturally, very naturally mean that both parties, although they consider themselves one, that both parties would take large steps in their vibration, in achievement of goals, in accomplishing various tasks, in being peaceful and loving. And you can see then devotion in action towards another. One may be devoted with heart, and the other one may just reflect that back to the one full of devotion. Imagine if you were devoted to Spirit or to your Lord, whoever that may be. As your devotion is poured in that direction, how can that Lord or deity or God reject you? So you often see written in scriptures a way that two beings are connected. And this true intention is specified, particularly in Psalm 91, when one says, if you were to call me by any name, with the true heart I will come. Different translations will give different words. The Gita says the same thing. This is when one's heart is true. One's energy is buoyant and rich and expansive. Together, two beings, whether they are physical or not physical, become one. And then the progress for each and the production of what you would call in your world the miracles can occur. And this is proven to you because when you do feel love for that true person or for your true hobby or what you enjoy doing, then there is no time. There is no space between you. The purity of the two become the one. And all things are accomplished, not because there is a desire to accomplish, but the accomplishment is purely out of the energy, the vibration that occurs when true connection happens. If you are lucky to be in that situation, it does not matter your location. It does not matter what the other looks like, because it's not to do with the physical form. So as the two artists, one creates and the other reflects, they are in perfect harmony and they express the truth. So your spiritual evolution, whether you meet another or not, whether you are with your true love or not, would be accelerated by the activities of attention, intention, prayer, devotion, and commitment or focus or concentration. Further supporting activities, of course, would be gratitude and forgiveness, as both of them cleanse away the false to reveal the truth. And these are also energy or vibration magnets. As you walk your path and become more evolved, then you see more commonly that even the smallest or even the largest hiccup are the gifts that come to take you still further into the purity of self. So if you have an obstacle that is in the way of your life, or in the way of your connection to another, or to an experience, or to an event, or to an accomplishment, those obstacles are no more than a gift that you seek. Something that will help you to release, to remove, and to take you deeper into your truth. And they have been given to you so that you can shed them for once, maybe forever. And you can fall deeply into the passion, the beauty, the love, the peace, the happiness of one's true self. So the removal of your blocks reveals what is true within. And what you find, you can create and express and reflect into the world so that you can see the beauty that is all around with very different eyes. Not with your human physical eyes, but with your spiritual eyes. That is why the third eye is so important in all of this experience. As when your true eye opens, the two become the one. And the clarity of the world then is seen in its true way. But all spiritual practices must in essence be simple, effective, and reflect the truth. There is no need for practices to be so difficult or complex. Rather, they are meant to be simple and true. And I'm sure if I was to ask each individual, would you want to raise your spiritual eyesight? There are a few that would not want this. Some would say, well, prayer is not my way. Devotion is not for me. So there's another activity I would like you to experiment with and try, but only if you wish. This too is an energy magnet, and it will awaken parts of you that you do not know. Ones who already walk an advanced path, while this is completely natural to them, and they may never know of when they actually started the practice. It was just always there. So if you're willing to do the experiment, it must be done for 1 week, for 7 days. You will notice effects after just 1 day, or even after a few hours, or even just practicing once. You will see a change. But if you applied the commitment and the focus and with the intention of change to this practice, then it will become a habit and instinct, and you will begin to glow in beauty to such a level that others will recognize, to such a level that others will be drawn to you without them knowing why. They will be drawn to you because they are connected to both your inside and beyond your inside into your true essence of self. The practice I'm just about to reveal is an expression of seeing the world in very different light by both the creation and the reflection in one exercise. Now, there are many, of course, but I selected this one because it stands aside for those who do not like the word prayer and devotion. And it is rather simple. So for one day, 1 week, and still further, your experiment is to be kind to all beings, including yourself, all of the time. Be kind to all beings, including oneself, all of the time. It is the path of kindness, if you would like. And if you are to marry or be totally committed to any other person, always pick one who is kind, as you will never get bored of that kind. Now, you may be kind to all beings, so this is not just human. Maybe animal life, it may be your trees, your plants, your vegetable. May be kind to your car. May be kind to your heart. Do the experiment and find out for yourself. And as I said, next week is questions. If you would like to pass on observations, then of course I will take them, but questions are equally important. With that said, as promised, I open myself to any questions anyone may have, particularly regarding our subject matter for this term, aligning the mind. But any other question will also be taken. Are there any that would like to ask?
Christina has a question.
Hi, Ignatius.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. I was just wondering, the heart of your talk that you're bringing up today, is this the same message related to the last conversation I had with you involving Father Spirit and two becoming one and creating the third point?
Well, in essence, it is reflecting the same story, but from a different viewpoint. You'll notice the two will also have a deeper meaning. And when one is willing to listen in one way, then the story is told in one direction and another in another day. It brings two parts of one being, the head and the heart, together. Because the true way, as one walks a spiritual path, is to think through the heart. And this, of course, is the spiritual heart, not the physical heart, not the emotional, but the heart of purity of love. As one thinks through that spiritual heart, then oneself becomes aligned with either expression or cause. And the two pathways I detailed, and as I've said before, there are other, but the two pathways become one. And greater truth and greater knowledge is revealed. And one can be aligned in the stillness of beauty, then one opens up to greater potential and possibility. So this indeed is a reflection of the merger of Father and Mother, Father Spirit, Mother Earth, and the two coming together in the divine light where they touch, the point of creation. So as you can be totally full of attention and intention, if you be prayerful or devotion and be focused on what you do, then there is a greater opening of love and peace. as one is more committed to the acts of meditation, and one is, to begin with, very diligent and puts lots of effort, but only then to take the effort away once the routine is established, then does that not reveal also greater light, greater love, greater peace, happiness too, the ability to gain extra knowledge, all arises? And as one still practices further meditation, it changes from what one must do into a joy. And the joy of meditating and the joy of the results is reward unto itself, not with a reward of some result, but the present moment awareness delivers the beauty of love, peace, and happiness. All this becomes truthful and can be experienced in many different ways. So as one meditates and focuses with or without prayer and devotion, and one's energy grows, but then also one's phenomena will also grow. One will see life differently and experience life around them changing. And it's all to do with oneself. And as this occurs, then anything of a lower vibration becomes difficult for this higher vibration to truly hold on to. But of course, that does not mean that there's not love, there is not peace, there is not a desire for things to be different. But love is complete to itself and asks that nothing need change. I just accept it the way it is and see that this is for the benefit of all. And as one will change, one will grow. Do you understand?
Yes, that was helpful. And I think I'll be interested to re-listen again through different contexts as well. So thank you.
Of course, the conversation I just gave has multi-levels of understanding depending on where one is. So thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Is there another question?
Yes, Amanda has a question.
Hi, Ignatius.
Amanda, good evening.
I have been wondering, I've been more and more trying to incorporate prayer into my natural day as often as I can remember, and it hasn't been difficult to do so, but I was wondering because prayer is somewhat new for me, if there is any guidance on best practice, how to incorporate it, or am I doing it too much? Am I doing it without the heart? So any insight you could provide, I would deeply appreciate.
Well, true prayer is not with the mind, as the mind will only remember some prayer that someone told someone else who eventually told you many months or years ago. True prayer must be beyond the mind and must be, for its most effectiveness, felt deeply within one's heart. And the prayer becomes very aligned to the word devotion, as prayer must come out of the essence of being and must be sent in the direction of whoever one is praying to. So one would express, for example, gratitude, maybe in a prayer. One would express surrender or forgiveness or hope. So it'd be very important that prayer also becomes very aligned with intention. That one could pray with one's heart for alignment of love. If it's said, as I've already said, if it is said with mind, it would have slow and limiting effect. If it is expressed truly with one's heart, one over a period of time will be the living expression of prayer. Or if you prefer, the expression of love. So one would truly pray with tears in one's eyes. So the prayer can be very akin to the practice or suggested practice of kinder. The two become very compatible. And one is expressed not always for one's own benefits, but for the benefit of others. It is the outpouring of love to its beloved, to the one that one feels most connected to. So if you looked at another person, be it a friend or a client or even a loved one, as one prays, one fails to see the difference between each person once one is established in prayer. So even the casual acquaintance then begins to look like a family member. And the family members over a period of time begin to look like the very deity that one is praying toward. The act of kindness, of course, shows the same path. But if you prayed on the basis that I am kind to this being or this person or this creature, I am kind here because I see my God in them, the heart will pull you closer to them and them to you, and the two of you would then manifest whatever is the applicable deity. So you cannot pray too much as long as it is in the right way through the heart. You can pray too much if you are using your mind, because the ego will get very bored and will not like the structure, but demands the structure nonetheless. So if you remember the example of looking for car keys with the linear and non-linear mind, then pray from the non-linear mind. Let the prayer come out of your silence. Let it reflect first through your heart. Let it be felt truly there. And if it is felt truly in one's heart, it will clear your mind. And it will begin a process of cleansing your mind. And in cleansing and clearing, then it will also mean your vibration, your aura will raise. Your energy levels will improve. And then the manifestation of whatever you are praying for becomes more and more likely. To the point when one is truly in love, manifestation is within the blink of an eye. But it is the love that's important and not the product that comes as a result. So my suggestion would be, as you begin a practice, or if you wish to begin this practice, is let the prayer come through you, not out of mind. Let it come through you into your heart, and let it be spoken either internally or externally by the heart. And then you become the living prayer. As you are no more than the expression of love or divine love. So love comes into you, through you, out of you, from its source back to its source. And then unity becomes possible. So all beings then start to look like a singularity or the same essence rather than individual form. Amanda, did you follow my words?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Perhaps we have time for one more question, if I may.
Anyone else?
Well, that is perfectly fine. So if you do think of questions, you are more than welcome to ask them next week. Until then, be kind and see what happens. And may God bless you all.